I'm so tired. I was walking a lot on my my treadmill today. My treadmill desk.
Do you know what? I saw you doing an influencer on, on
you know
Instagram.
what, yeah? People be asking which one I bought, and I'm like, I need some affiliate links or something. I bought mine on Gumtree.
Did you buy it on Gumtree?
Yeah. Did you not watch my? You not watch my full story?
I've been working again.
Oh, okay.
I'm employed.
No, but literally that was on my lunch break, and I was like, you need to up influencer for everybody. I literally posted last week, and I had like 20 DMs.
Really?
Like, what's the deets? What's the deets? I was like, wow, I'm an influencer.
Basically.
That don't get paid. The worst kind. But yeah, so I did 12,000 steps today.
Okay, well done.
Yeah. And I started around like 1 o'clock.
Okay. No, I'm impressed because I've definitely probably done like maybe 60 today. So.
60.
Actually, I went Aldi in the morning, so I think that contributed to my steps.
Okay. That 1K? That 1K?
Max.
No, but I'm loving it. So I haven't even done anything this week. What have you been doing?
Me? Oh, it was like one of my nearest and dearest, like my sister, baby shower.
I saw the videos.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm tired. Like, I'm getting old. I feel like I went to the club.
That baby shower looked lit.
I mean, it was really good.
It looked massive though.
For what people think a baby shower is, which is like really intimate and small. In that sense, yes, it was like.
What
80
do you think
plus
about like
people?
80 plus? That's literally. I said it's like a wedding. That's like a wedding.
A small wedding.
Not for a black person. Well, not for a Nigerian. Maybe other black people.
So yeah, I'm getting a niece.
Oh, exactly. Oh yeah, I saw it.
I knew it was a girl. So
how did you know it was a girl?
That's the reason my nails are pink.
Oh really?
Yeah, because I knew it was a girl. Yeah.
I feel like a girl really suits her. Like
I
feel like the girl's gonna be so cute.
She is.
Like I just can see like mummy and me vibes.
Yeah. Literally, it's gonna be a mini her.
Yeah.
I'm so
Cute.
excited.
It's gonna be so cute.
Yeah, so that's me. That's why I'm. Oh, I did the drinks. I did cocktails.
I know. Because I said it today. I was like, "Oh, the baby shower looked really good." Did you see my drinks? Not did you see like not it's a girl? Did you see the gender reveal? Did you see my drinks?
Yeah. Did you see my? All my mojitos went. By the way, they flew off the table. Can I just say, drinks by Vels. Just throwing it out there.
Do you know what? I listened to the pod back the other day, and I don't always listen back, but I'm like, I laugh a lot, and I laugh very loud.
Oh, you just found out?
No, I knew, but I've never really, it never really marinated.
So
on the
basically,
pod.
you're saying you're not self-aware.
I have self-awareness, but it's very loud. Like, and when I used to laugh, like in the office, like depending on which clients I'm with, certain clients I can't really laugh because it just carries. Like, I work with some clients where they're quite quiet, and I laugh, and then everyone's just turning around to look at me.
I mean, it's good. You love life.
No, but literally, like my mouth is open, like wide.
You love life. It's cool.
Like a baby bird.
I love that for you.
Anyway, I'm not gonna stop. So
exactly, live and love life.
And I laugh at what you say, but I also laugh at what I say. I'm really a fan of laughing at your own jokes.
Yeah, I think I'm bloody hilarious, mate.
No, you are hilarious. Like, honestly, sometimes I listen back to the pod, yeah, and this is not me trying to tour him, but we are funny.
I think we're quite funny. now people are gonna watch me. No, you're not, man.
Haters. But sometimes I listen to when I'm like, if I'm editing, yeah, I'll be sitting there, and sometimes I have my headphones on, and I'll just be laughing, and I'll just be looking at me like, like you'll say something, and I'll be like, sometimes when I'm editing, yeah, I will take a video and I'll send it to Velisa, and I'll be like, Velisa, you're funny, man.
Yeah, you see. No, but we are. Look at that train one that got me.
Which one?
Remember the one I was like, it has to be a real.
Which
you
one?
talking about the train?
Oh, the trains. Oh, we need to put more stuff on socials. We really do. We do. Because we really need to like not deprive the people. Because like
it's okay to shame us, you know, so that we do it.
I know there was whoever, I can't remember who was it, but a couple of people messaged like, where was the episode?
Yeah, they did. I was
like,
whoa.
We didn't even mention it
we
because
were
like
silent.
last week we put the episode out. Like the week before, we didn't do an episode, and we didn't even come back and say, "Oh, we've changed," you know. Because before we would have come back with an apology. We would have come and said, "Oh, we're so sorry that we missed an episode on a day it was supposed to come out." We might even have put like a little clip saying, "Oh, sorry guys, no episode today." We would have posted on Instagram.
It's true. Then now we're just like,
don't get it.
Yeah, we're just like, you get it when you get it. Oh, the episode is out now.
But we're actually very consistent. We don't miss. We don't really ever miss episodes.
We don't.
We're not the best at uploading on time.
No,
but there will be a weekly.
There's pods worse than us.
Weekly and consistent, baby.
So moving on.
Is he still around? Is he back now?
I don't know.
I feel like he came back during Love Island, but he didn't hit the same.
Did he?
He will not be named.
We did Love Is Blind stuff, innit?
No, I said no. I said the guy, Murad.
Yeah, he did Love Is Blind
did he do
stuff.
Love Is Blind stuff?
He was promoting it. Yeah, they gave him a free TV. Yeah.
You can't really do anything and still get sponsored, isn't it? But anyway, what's in the HR news?
There's a few things in the HR news. So I saw a case and it was about a woman who had been in her job 2 months and she found out she had stage 1 breast cancer. So really early. And she also, so when she found out, she took some time off, obviously, to do some treatments, and then she'd have days off sporadically to have treatments. And then she also took some time off, like a chunk of time off, to get married to her partner.
Lovely.
And when she did all this, her company basically said that her productivity had really decreased and they let her go while she had cancer and got married.
Was the decrease in productivity because of her cancer?
Yeah.
People are so sick, man.
I know. So she went to tribunal with it and she won.
Of course.
And she won £30,000.
It's giving disability discrimination.
Yeah, like I just feel like this one, common sense is not common, because use your common sense. If somebody is going through certain treatments for their health, of course, physical health, it's gonna impact them, right? Like it's gonna impact them mentally as well as their physical.
Also, so they don't have HR, like reasonable adjustment.
If literally
as a HR person,
accommodations, but then just be sensitive, because she's been there 2 months. She started a new job. She's found out she has cancer. Like the least she can do is say it's okay.
I actually dealt with something like that, you know.
Have you?
I worked in an organisation where somebody started, and like a few months after, they were diagnosed with cancer, and it was they were like, there was in a target setting, like a target driven role, and obviously, like when you're in a target driven role, if you're not being productive or if you're like, it can have an impact, and so we just reduced the targets, or we took away the need to do targets. We gave her like stuff that she could do to support the team, which wasn't target driven, to not to add distress. But we always talk about common sense, but I'm also like, where's the humanity? Like, it's just not, even if you don't know about reasonable adjustments and you're not thinking about getting sued, like, you're actually a human being, and this is also a human being. Like, how are you not appreciating the fact that the person has cancer?
No empathy. Like,
I don't understand it, because even forget, like, if you're not a good manager, but even as a person, it's not something that you'd have to think twice about. You
should be embarrassed, really, that it went to that level, like it escalated to the point where...
No, but you let it get there. Like, you didn't try to settle. That means that you really believed that you were, like, in principle, you were correct. Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah, it's not good. But I'm glad that she won. And I feel like that's a lot of money based on the fact she was there 2 months.
Yeah, I love that for her.
Yeah,
I hope she's recovered. Do we know?
No.
Oh, she was fine. Was she at the tribunal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
It is. I just feel like people just need to have a heart, really.
And you know, I've had situations where, like, let's say someone dies, or someone has something going on, and it means that they have to leave work, and they're very apologetic. Like, you know, like, oh, I need to take some time off, I'm so sorry, or they're sick and they're apologizing, and you look at them and you're like, why are you apologizing?
Yeah.
But this is why, because like, you think you don't have to apologize. Like, this is life. Like, you know, what can we do to support you? And you think, why are they doing that? But it's because there are other people who will actually, like, be annoyed that the fact that you're sick,
horrible,
or the fact that you have caring responsibilities, or the fact that you are bereft of a loved one.
Scary.
It is.
It is scary, especially in like a climate now where you're actually seeing employees being a bit more confident at putting those things first. Like pre-COVID, I think that mentality was really, like, prevalent amongst the majority. But I do feel like as time has gone on and lockdown has happened, and, you know, people were able to stay at home with their children, their pets, pets, their loved ones, the elderly, the young, like all of that, your partner, you know, there was just more balance to people's lives. So I do feel like with that, it's kind of brought more of that unapologetic attitude where it's like,
and I love
how can you fit around my life?
I say I love it, but then it's like, I do love it, but I still feel like with that you will always get the people who take the piss.
Yeah, of course.
Like, you know, sometimes you have to think about if you could, what you can say, like how unidentifiable it is. But like, for instance, if you're like, some companies have quite, I say good, like quite flexible, compassionate leave policies. But I'm like, even with compassionate leave, like you have to take it if you need it. Do you get what I mean? Like if you're, I don't know, if your neighbor dies, you might want to take some time off to cook them something or whatever, but you're not going to take a week off. But you know, like some people...
Wait, you said if your neighbor dies, you might want to take some time off to cook them something.
Yeah, it's like, can I have an afternoon off to help them to prepare some food or something, take something over?
As in someone else is there with the neighbor.
What?
You said if your neighbor dies,
yeah,
you will take some time off to cook something for them.
Oh, their family.
I'm like, what?
Like, you know,
am I tired?
No, like you might take some, you know, to go and
support
them in doing something,
or
you might open up your garden so that they can, I don't know, you might need to do something, but you don't need a week off work.
Nah, for real.
And there are literally people who do crazy things like that. Like, oh, my housemate, somebody died, or like, not your housemate's relative, or like.
I'll never forget when one of my managers back in the day, when one of her cats died. Oh my God.
No, but what did she ask for?
She took time off. She didn't even ask. She was gone. Like this is like 2014, 2013. She was gone.
I can't lie, I'm with her a bit.
Yeah, she was gone. She was like, I have to take this time off.
Yeah, because if I won't be productive.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said it before, but when I was at college, my dog got out. They were doing some work, and then the workman left the gate open, and then my dog got out, and it was missing she was missing for 2 days. I didn't go to college. I stayed at home. I cried the first day. I was so upset. Yeah, and that was when she was like a puppy, or maybe she's like a year old or something. But my dog is 15 years old. When that dog, and her time is coming, right? Because she's 15. When that happens, this podcast won't be seeing me. I have to take some time off for myself. I have to look after myself.
I hear that. So yeah, like to our point.
No, but I couldn't be taking a week off work and expecting to get paid.
Why not?
For my dog.
Dogs are part of people's families.
They are.
Yeah.
But no.
You know, how other people react to.
Not to say you shouldn't take the time off, but you can't expect to get paid for it.
You don't think so?
No, I love dogs. I love dogs, but maybe a day.
But not a week.
Oh, well, I take some holiday. Some short notice holiday.
Okay, fair enough.
I just think that you can't. There was an episode where we spoke about it, innit? Like, I need time off, my dog died.
Yeah.
But no, I'm still not with it. I can't remember what I said back then. Maybe my opinion has changed.
Maybe.
But I just know.
I think that's fair. I don't have any pets, so I can't really speak on it. But
if you get one, when you get one, I feel like eventually,
I do want a dog.
I feel like also when you have children, you kind of have to. Eventually, you'll cave into getting some sort of pet.
It has to be. I don't like cats.
I don't like cats either, but I do really like this guy on Instagram who does impressions of cats.
You are so
He's like, I'm your cat who doesn't want to move. I'm your cat when you're going out. I'm your cat. Oh, he's Instagram, not TikTok. I've never seen him on TikTok.
Why are you watching that?
I don't know.
Lola, seek employment.
I have employment. That's the word. I don't even have time. I don't know where I find time to do this. I watch it from time to time. I don't spend a lot of time.
Seek employment.
I don't want a job.
Oh gosh.
But yeah,
anyway,
taking the piss.
Moving on. You were telling me about a story with Budweiser.
Yes. So I
didn't even know Budweiser was still around like that.
Budweiser, Bud Light, beer. I can't remember what
they do. Like all the Super Bowl adverts still and stuff.
I think beer is beer in it. Like I don't want to say just men.
But they were that was them, right?
What's that, Bud? Yeah, I think so.
Oh, good times.
What was that even about?
Wow, I'm showing my age with that one, but
no, but what? Like, where did that come from? That was them. But yeah, so recently, probably like early this month, or end of last month. So they were advertising Bud Light. So they have Budweiser and Bud Light. I can't remember what the parent company's called. Something I want to say German. And they were working with a couple of influencers, and they worked with an influencer called Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney is a trans woman, right? And recently been like it's been quite popular in general. She does this thing, it's day 113 of being a woman, like since she transitioned. And she also had facial feminization surgery. I think the only person I've ever really seen before and after that had facial feminization surgery that I was aware of before, besides Monroe Begdorf.
Okay, fair.
And hers is it's elite.
Great.
Anyway, so I digress. She recently had facial feminization surgery, big on TikTok and Instagram, but massive on TikTok. And they sent her a can of Bud Light with like her face on it, and it was like, she did like an advert. She just said thank you for sending it, and she did a video
on socials.
So it was on socials, and it was like, I'd say quite a nothing video. She made some jokes. She was just like, thanks for sending this can of Bud Light, I'll be drinking it while I watch sports, like that kind of thing. It was non-offensive or whatever. So they obviously did this to be like, hey, we're inclusive, we work with all sorts of influencers, and Bud Light is more what they use aimed at women, right? And obviously Dylan's got a very female audience, so it kind of makes sense. However, what they didn't anticipate was that a lot of their audience or their main customers are raging transphobes, right? So a lot of like people were like, hey, we don't like what you're doing, we're opting out, we're gonna boycott Bud Light, Budweiser. That eye roll was loud.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're gonna boycott, and their share price tanked.
Really?
Share price tanked, sales dropped, and it became like a thing where it's like, people are making a stand, they don't even know what they're making a stand about. But they all started making a stand. Oh my gosh, you're the thing that's, our children, like to about their children, like our children, all this other kind of stuff. Oh, you're supporting trans people, this trans stuff, like you're pushing it, the agenda, let's talk about the agenda. And it went really left for them. And what did they do in response?
What did they do?
Was it the CEO or someone senior came out and said, we just want to let you know that this was it wasn't a campaign, because everyone started saying they were doing some trans campaign. There's like, it wasn't a campaign. It was one can that we gave to one influencer. It doesn't necessarily mean that we support like the lifestyle or whatever. Like
it's
they started
disassociating
it. It wasn't in those exact words, but like they started like backtracking. It was like, like they didn't double down. A real brand would have been like, we are an inclusive brand, and we support everyone. We want everyone to be able to enjoy our beverage, and all this other kind of stuff. But they didn't. They basically said, look, this is one can, one brand. We're not going to do more work with this person, that kind of stuff, right? They started saying it in an effort to save their brand. And I saw an article about it, and they were saying that this is what happens when brands do ethics washing. So this is when you try and be like, really cool and like, inclusive, and doesn't work in your favor, and then we see your true colors, because as soon as it started affecting your pocket, now all of a sudden you're not standing with Dylan, you don't care about Dylan, it was a mistake that you made. But if you were really interested in being inclusive, when some of your customers started doing what they were doing, you would have doubled down and said, no, we stand with Dylan. That's what a really inclusive brand would have done.
That's what they would have done. So but I'm just looking, and in a statement, they said, including our community in marketing is nothing new. But what is new is the extreme... Oh, no, wait, this isn't dead. This is another person.
No, I need to find exactly what was said, because it was something like, we want to reiterate that this was one can, one influencer, one something.
Anyways, let's move on.
Just on the subject of like diversity, which we feel like we talk about all the time. But something else that I actually did see on the Clock app, I don't care, I'll never change, is not necessarily related to HR directly, but it's very similar themes. Do you see all this controversy around this Tarte trip?
I did. But can I just say, my girl, Jackie Aina, has been talking about Tarte for a long time.
Yes.
And nobody wanted to pay attention.
I feel like people paid attention, but the people that didn't want to listen, they didn't pay attention.
And now they're burnt.
Okay, so basically, Tarte is a cosmetics company, which I feel like has a lot of customers in the US and not really any here.
Yeah, it's definitely more US.
Yeah, so it's a cosmetics company. For a long time, certain influencers of colour, many black influencers have been saying that they don't treat their influencers the same. So they do all these like influencer trips where they basically take all these influencers on a big trip and then they make content, and obviously they get a lot of money because they post and all this other kind of stuff. And recently they invited they did like one which was around Formula One, and they invited a bunch of influencers, and the one black influencer that they invited, she basically realized she had friends going on a trip, and she basically realized that she wasn't being treated the same as other people. Like they had invited her for different days, but not the same days, where like not to the main event basically. And she didn't think that was fair, because she wanted to be able to obviously take part in the experience fully. And also like, I'm going to be making you money, so why am I going to be treated differently? So she came out with a video and said basically that she was like, yeah, I was treated different. They'll treat me differently. I don't think it was fair. I think I was the only like black influencer, blah, blah, blah. And in response, their CEO went on TikTok and made some very stupid video, which I think she thought was going to make her relatable.
Yeah,
while she was curling her hair and using a curling tone, which I want to believe is from 1980, and saying, "Oh, we just want our influencers to have a good time. We don't really think about the money and all of the content. It's just, we just want to have a big family and all this nonsense stuff." And then the thing that I thought was particularly violent is that they then invited another black influencer to like onto another trip, and then that black influencer, obviously I'm so sure they made sure that person had the time of their life, and then that person then said, "Oh, but I had a great experience." And I feel like this is what we see, obviously they're influencers, but I feel like it's what we see in the workplace a lot, when people don't have solidarity. And that's like, if let's say you say someone's racist to you, you're black, and you say someone's racist to you, they'll be looking at another black person and they'll be like, they're fine. Yeah. Velisa, so if we're not racist to Velisa, surely we couldn't have been racist to you. And it's the same. It reminds me of the thing with Gabrielle Union, Terry Crews. Similar sort of situation. Gabrielle Union said, "Oh yeah, my experience on America's Got Talent was X, Y, and Z." Terry Crews said, "Well, mine was fine."
We don't like Terry
Crews.
Literally
clown,
tap dancer,
clown. Yeah, but that's what it reminded me of. And I'm like, we actually need to, whatever minority group we're in, we actually just need to have some solidarity and have people's backs, and understand that even if my experience was different and I haven't experienced that, doesn't mean that it's not true for you.
100%, I agree.
Because if not, like, it's so silly to say, okay, we share the same characteristic and the bad thing didn't happen to me, and therefore your experience is not valid.
That's what I don't want to digress on this, but I think that's that whole like light skin, dark skin, fair skin, dark skin. That's basically what you're talking about.
What do you mean?
As in like the oppressive battle of like, well, this happened to me because I'm X, and it didn't happen to you because you're X, or this happened to me because I'm X, but I'm also X. So like,
it's silly.
It's just really silly.
It's like, I just think it's dumb, and I really can't stand people that play into that, and especially when they play into it for money. I understand that we all need to eat because he lives, all of this kind of stuff, but like, it's so bad, especially when you know, if you didn't know you was being used and you've just spoken your truth, that's different. Nah,
everybody has a number. Look at Tiwa. We spoke about Tiwa.
I'm not even over it.
We spoke about Tiwa,
but I feel like her price is not even high.
The bag was big because she knows what that country did to her country, and I don't
think she cares.
He does,
but I know everybody has a number, but I feel like when you're being used and you don't even know you're being used, I think it's different. Like someone like, even we can say one about Terry Crews and Gabrielle Union, but he was on the show already. Do you get what I mean? He was just living his life, wanted to keep his bag secure, cool. But when you are not even on a trip and you can see all the controversy happening, then the said brand currently embroiled in controversy,
and then you
reaches out to you, and you let them fly you out because you want to get flued out.
It's not good. But the moral of the story is, don't buy tart. Don't be involved.
I mean, we don't even have many American listeners anyway.
That's true. But even if you go to Sephora in the US, don't buy tart.
And also be listening to people, innit? Because it's not like, it's again the particular influencer they got.
From back in the day, like even their shades and stuff.
The worst part is that influencer, she came out, she said that. I don't know what they did to her behind the scenes, but she came back on, I think on Instagram, and she said, "Oh yeah, they've reached out to me. We've spoken about it behind the scenes. I do think that maybe I was too quick to act and I was too quick to speak. I'm gonna take some time.
Everybody has a number.
No, I'm gonna take some time to reflect on it offline. So they ran her off the app. I don't know what they said to her, but she's off. She's offline.
They gave her something.
I think they threatened her
with legal action. Yeah. That's ridiculous. While you were talking, I just remembered something which isn't really HR related, but it probably, well, it does happen to a lot of minorities in the workplace. So, Dr. Shola, did you?
Yes. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, go on. I'm with you.
So, I don't know, like, if you didn't see the clip, basically, okay, first of all, because even me, like, I'm scared of her, so I don't even want to now butcher her name like that. Lola?
How she finds it acceptable people to say her name is Shola. She said, sound it phonetically, Shola Mos-Shogbamimu. Yeah.
So she went on.
Not you being scared that she's gonna stitch our video.
So it was it Channel 5, right?
I don't know, but it was one of
those
nonsense channel.
Yeah, and
give us some background on
so she's an activist. She's a doctor, not a medical doctor, but like a doctor of theory, and like she's all about, you know, supporting black people. She's all about denouncing, you know, things like the royal family and
loudly,
literally loudly
supporting calling out anyone who's racist to
Meghan,
going head to head, tete-a-tete with Piers Morgan.
Literally, like she's a scholar. She's full of knowledge, and she's got
a Nigerian accent. Yeah, and what I love is that there's nobody on this earth that can tell her that she's not British. You can never. She'll say, "No, this is my home. I'm British. I've got a British passport," and she will say it with her whole chest. And I love that for her.
With chest. So, like, they usually bring her on things like Good Morning and all of that stuff when they want somebody on who's going to have a completely different viewpoint to the, like, Piers Morgan types of people. So, she goes on this show, and the presenter, Dawn, can't remember her last name, and she says Dr. Shola's name, her last name, she says it wrong.
She didn't even start. She
literally says nonsense, is what I heard.
Yeah,
she didn't try.
Yeah, so she said, Dr. Shola, and then she said, and then she's pulled and said, how do you say your last name? And she said, as it's written, sound it out.
She didn't even try. So then Dr. Shola said, no, try again.
Yeah.
And she tried, air quotes, and still not, like, it was incorrect. And then
she was like, can we just move on? She's like, we'll just keep it at Shola.
And then Dr. Shola was like, we're not moving from here until you literally pronounce my name correctly. But I just felt like that was so, personally, like, I loved seeing that, because it's like, even today, I was saying to my partner, I got called Melissa and Vanessa, like, literally 2 different people. I sent a calendar invite to someone. They came back and said, "Oh, no problem, Vanessa, I can do that time." Yeah. Then another person, But another person, I slacked them, and they said, "Hi, Melissa. I can on both calendar.
It's written.
And Slack, it's in front of you. You don't even have to try. I'm not even asking you to say it. Just type it correctly." So just to see her, like, stand by it,
and it's something that we have to do all the time. Work.
Yeah,
I had
it was amazing to see her stand by it. And sorry, can I just say one more thing? That Dawn presenter afterwards, she said, "Oh,
great accent,
great accent." I wanted to fight her. Great accent.
I couldn't believe it. And she made.
Are you sick?
I think she tried it like 4 times, and then she was like, "Shogbam." She was like, "Okay, try again." She's like, "We're not moving on because, like, it's my name," and I love that. I love, like, people standing on that.
Yeah, stand your ground.
Yeah, it isn't. But then they'll use it to say that you're, like, aggressive or, like, combative.
You need to learn to pronounce my name.
There's too many names that you can say.
Too many.
There's too many difficult names, and Hermione is the one that's the hill that I would die on, because we all learned how to say Hermione, and I read the books before I watched that. I read it when I was 10, and for a long time I was calling her Hermione. So, like, if I who's been calling her that in my head for years can now watch the movie and say, "Oh, Hermione, okay, I get it,"
then you can pronounce all these.
Then you can pronounce Shogbamimu. Like, it's not even like it's like Neve, because you see Neve on paper.
Do you know what? I was thinking, like, when I first started working with companies that have, like, Irish offices, I'm not gonna lie, I was looking at some of these names and thinking,
when someone said that, the name is Kiva,
but you get the hang of it, right? Like, you try and
MH. Okay, literally. That means V. Okay, exactly. Cool. We can understand that. You
start to get it, you know? Like, I remember when I first saw Aoife written on paper, I said, "Yo," I was going, "Oif."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I said, "Oif." And then she's like, "Oh, it's Aoife." I was like, okay.
But you just learn. Do you know what I mean? You adapt, but the thing is, you can actually spell her name out phonetically.
Literally.
It doesn't need any additional grasp of any other language.
And she is a presenter. Like, you should have practiced that backstage.
That's so
You're lazy.
bad.
And I think it's because of the preconception of seeing Dr. Shola and all these different things that she thought she could just...
I think that if you've actually watched her, you know that that's actually suicide. Like, why would you do that?
That's true.
But I think it's ridiculous. I hired someone, shout him out. His name is Mafuz. Yeah, back before. And I remember in the first day I was like, how do you actually like to be addressed? He was like, oh, you can just call me Maths. He started telling people, you can call me Maths. I love him so much. But anyway, he doesn't work for me anymore. But he call me Maths because Mafuz is sometimes hard for people to say. I said, it's actually not. It's actually not hard for people to say. Like, Mafuz. It's literally two syllables. He was like, yeah, but sometimes people struggle. I said, if you want people to call you Mafuz, you tell them to call you Mafuz. Yeah. Don't be giving people already additional permission to call you something that you don't want to be called.
For real. The worst is when people like shorten your name without asking you. Like, I remember a company I worked at. So there was two elements to this. The company I worked at, some of my friends joined because I brought them in, being in HR. And outside of work, they call me Vels. So because of them, some people started to call me Vels. But I had understanding of why that was happening, yeah. I didn't like it, but I understood. But then some people started calling me V. And I said, nah.
I can't.
Don't do that.
I think it's very audacious when people do that.
It's very audacious because you haven't asked me, and I nobody calls me V. Don't do
initial.
That.
You're an initial.
Initial. Are you okay? Like, you're gonna say my full name.
I also think it's lazy.
It is lazy. V. Like, no, we're not even like. I don't even like you, so you're not getting no black.
V.
Like,
but some people just shoot on everyone's name, like they even sign off their own initials. Let's say the name is Michael, they'll sign M. Yeah. Then they'll start. I worked with someone like that, and the thing is, V, to be fair, is an initial that you can comfortably have, but it sounds sensible. L is not.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So when you start calling me L, it's not making sense.
Yeah.
V Velisa. Okay, we can understand. V Vanessa.
Yeah, basically the same I don't like that stuff. And like, I've worked in sales environments before, and they all call each other by their last names as well. And they try to, first of all, I have a double barrel last name, so like,
which one do they choose?
The latter part.
Okay.
And I'm just like, what are you on? Like, no, don't do that to me. Am I your buddy?
To be fair,
we're not friends.
I used to work somewhere with someone who's not my friend. Her last name is Kiss, and everyone called her Smooch. It was like a sports company, so she went from having the last name, they call everyone by their last name, and she went from Kiss to Smooch. And then, to be fair, like, she was alright with it, and I loved it for her.
I mean, if you like, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. If you like people, it's cool. But if you're not my friend, you better address me by my government name. Yeah. Until I give you permission, otherwise. Literally. But
I actually always ask, and I always ask people how to say their names when I meet them for the first time.
So do I.
And I'm like, you may as well just get it out of the way now. And it's not offensive. It's when it's like, you've known me for 6 months now, you're getting my name wrong. That's when people will be offended. When you meet someone for the first time, it's just actually fine.
Yeah,
look, good presenters, people in meetings. When I was graduating, my undergrad, they just did my name anyhow. When I graduated from my master's, I'm like, okay, it's been 10 years, things have moved on or whatever. They make you write your name phonetically, like how the person is supposed to say it. And I was like, okay, I'm with it, I get it. So like, you just write your name and they read out the phonetic spelling, like if they're not going to be sure, and they read it out so much better. But good presenters, any time, like even if you're in a meeting, you're going to a meeting for the first time, like how do you want to be addressed? If we had someone on the podcast,
we'd have to ask
them like, how do you want to say, like, am I saying it correctly?
So don't be audacious, just ask, even if you think you know.
There's a sense of entitlement there.
Yeah.
It was screaming when she was talking. I was so angry. I was so angered.
Same. It was the great accent that got me. I wanted to fight her at that point. I was like, nah, you're rude.
But that's like people like Shola, when they go into them spaces, they have to really be mentally prepared, because you know what's coming.
But that's why what she did was good, because there's probably people like that in the workplace, but they can't They can't be as like audacious and rude,
because you actually work there.
Exactly. So it's good she did what she did, and I think more people should do it, because even me, like, some people go Velisa and I'll let it slide. But really and truly, I should be like, no, it's Velisa. Yeah.
I've always called you Velisa. Yeah. It doesn't look like Velisa to me. I feel like Velisa would have, if it had 2 S's.
Well, so that's my argument, that if it was Velisa, it would have 2 S's. But then if you saw Melissa with 1 S, you'd still say Melissa.
No, I would not say Melissa.
Would you? Okay, fair enough. Maybe my argument stands then.
Yeah, it does stand. People that can read.
The other reason why I let people off is because the only other Velisa I know is my grandmother. So I'm like, people don't really hear it. So maybe that's why they just go Velisa. Because they're used to like those sorts of names, like the Melissa, the Talisas, I don't know.
When with my name, like when I do the intro, which we have not done for the podcast, when I do the intro, which we'll do soon, I say my name is Lola, but you can call me Lola if you like. And I'm actually like that. Like I don't mind now because I don't want people to be saying my name anyhow. If you're gonna say anyhow, let me give you the anyhow to say it.
That's true.
Do you get what I mean? I don't want it to be doing too much. But like when I introduce myself, I always say my name is Lola, and then people will call me Lola.
I definitely say Lola. I'm like,
no, but it's fine. Like I don't like it's absolutely fine. Like because I've given the permission to do that. Like it's not the rock that I'm gonna die on. Do you know what I mean? But like my family, like they could, I don't know, it'd be weird. Like my boyfriend, he tried to call me Lola. Like, what?
Sorry,
who's that? It's your other girlfriend, mate. But yeah, I think if people give you permission, then it's fine. But sometimes I think people give permission because they're just so worn down.
Yeah. They're like, oh, it is what it is. This is what I'm gonna get. This is what I'm gonna get.
Yeah, I feel like the people when I was at uni, it was always the Chinese students, and I used to get so annoyed with them because I don't know, their name will be something very Chinese, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, just call me Charlene." I'm like, "No, your name always." And we can try, like, you know, we can actually try.
I only know one. Like when I was in school, her name was Xiao. Like it was spelled Xiaoxia, something like that. And yeah, so her name was Xiao. But she was the only one who actually stood on it. Everybody else would be like, this is my name, but call me Tracy. This is my name, but call me Michelle. And it's like...
And I wouldn't even mind if it was actually your name, like a middle name or something.
Yeah. But a lot of African children do that as well. Like,
yeah, but that is actually their name. That's why I can let
them
let it go.
Not always. Sometimes it's like, it's their name, but it's not their name. Like it's a name they gave themselves.
No, that doesn't work then. No. But if it's like, oh, your name is like Tunde, but your Christian name is Michael, and Michael's in your birth certificate.
But why do you want to do that though?
Because there's the same reason that people do it in the workplace. Because it's just,
like, no, stand on Tunde. Stand on it. Tell them.
I'm gonna give my children I'm gonna give them hard Nigerian names.
No, like honestly, people will learn.
I don't have an English name, so it'll just be alien for me.
I remember one of my friends. One of her workmates was interviewing someone and she read the name and she said Olamide. And my friend was like, oh, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's Olamide. And she was like, oh. And she was like, oh, okay. Like, you know, and it's like, well, like now she's going to know. Like sometimes you just need to keep seeing the names. If everybody who's called Tunde goes by their other name, or everyone who is called Folake goes by their other name, then nobody's ever going to learn to pronounce these other names because they're not hearing it.
But you don't need to learn how to pronounce them. Just ask the person. And those names are not hard.
But I think it helps when you're more familiar as well, because you'll understand how the different, like, I'm not Nigerian, but I've seen enough Nigerian names now
to get
understand the phonetics.
That's how I feel about Ghanaians. Yeah,
exactly.
I've seen enough names to be like, okay, this is probably how you say that.
Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I feel like we as like our different minority groups, we need, even me now, I've seen enough like Indian names to understand, this is probably how
it's true, you know, because when I see that, was it the Ghanaian, the KYEI or I?
You know, it's a check now.
Yeah, exactly.
See, so you need to see them for people to know. It's like the footballers; they know all these
Irish names,
the Irish names, because they stick by them. They don't try and change them to assimilate, which I think. I'll talk on black people. We like to assimilate a lot. We do. We change our names. We shorten even our African names to fit in. And I get why we do it, but you know,
yeah. We should be loud and proud of our names. It's like, I actually say that it's your name. It's actually very important.
It is. It's your
like
name,
your identity.
Yeah.
But people just expect you to be like, oh yeah, it's just.
No, it's literally who you are, what you're called.
Yeah.
It's how you're addressed. Anyways, it's important, but we digressed.
It's not even digress. That is actually very important.
It is important. It is. Should we do the dilemma then?
Yes, let's do that. When we say we, I feel like this is more for you.
Me? I don't think so. Why is it more for me?
I just feel like it's... And also last week, do you remember when I asked you if you want to do the hard
one? Yeah.
And you said, oh yeah, I'll do the hard. But next week. Also, while we're waiting, guys, thank you so much for everyone who's bought a ticket.
Yes,
for the event.
Yes. Woo!
We only have a few left, so
literally.
I don't know. I was about to say I'm hoping that by the time this goes out, there'll still be tickets, but I don't know if I am hoping that.
You're not hoping that. You're
yeah,
hoping
but
it's sold
if by
out.
the time this goes out, there's still tickets, get them, because there'll only be like literally a very, very, very few left.
Literally, there is not a lot left. Like, there's not a lot.
Hopefully they'll. Well, I don't know. Anyway, they'll go at some point.
So yeah, if by the time this episode comes out and you don't have a ticket and you can get to London, or you are in London on the 6th of June, which is a Tuesday.
So they should purchase it expeditiously.
Yes, they should purchase. Yeah. Please do, because we'd love to see you and have some fun.
Yeah. So today's dilemma is not. I said I was going to intro. We didn't do the intro. Hey guys, this is Lola, but you can call me Lola if you like.
Hi, this is Velisa, and you can call me Vels if you want. And this is the Everybody Hates HR pod, episode 45.
I feel like we've kind of accepted that the intro is not going to happen. Do you know what we should do? We should do something in the intro at the beginning of the podcast where we can just stick it on and be like, hi, this is Velisa. If people watch videos, they'll see our names. But if you're not watching the video, then
you won't know. Yeah,
you won't know. Okay, so today's dilemma is not the usual kind of dilemma. It's from a fellow HR professional, a HRBP, and they're looking for some advice from us about a case that they're working on. Not them tapping us up for free advice, but cool. So it says, thank you for your fabulous platform. Keep up the great work. I work as a HRBP and I'm looking for some advice. The manager has approached me regarding this case. Over the last few years, the employee's husband has been deemed controlling and emotionally abusive. However, recently he has been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. He calls the workplace 20 to 30 times a day, including 10 to 15 minutes at the start and end of the working day. Update on the house sale, can't get through to the consultant, update on GP appointments, etc., etc. Turns up at the workplace 2 times a week. During lunch break, he comes to site to collect her. The employee has broken down, saying that she finds it all too much. 3 children, 1 has epilepsy, 1 has a severe physical disability. I'm not site-based. However, the employee has contacted me regarding the recent diagnosis and mentioned that work is a welcome distraction from home life. However, management is finding the husband's behavior is causing a problem with the employee's work and performance, but wants to support the employee. We presume he wants to spend all his time with her. However, she works in a very small team and works part-time, so we need her to remain focused at work. She doesn't have much family support. I'm visiting the site in a couple of weeks and will be speaking to the employee. How do I approach this?
Wow.
Intense.
That is intense. There's a lot to unpack. Well, first of all, I feel so bad for the employee. Bad. That's a lot to deal with. Like, you have 3 kids and 1 has epilepsy and 1 has a physical disability. And the 3rd one is just a child, like, as in it's another child.
It's a lot of work still,
exactly. Yeah. So 3, and then a husband with stage 4 cancer.
And they said he was deemed, they said, the language is really interesting. It says he's been deemed to be, not that she has said, I guess the people at work have decided that he was already, even before the diagnosis, controlling and abusive.
Yeah, but to add all of that to the 3 kids and stage 4 cancer, that's a lot to deal with. So first of all, I just feel really bad for the employee. I'm not gonna lie, if it was me, I think I would put some form of BOLO in place eventually if it didn't stop.
Be on the lookout.
Yeah, sorry, that's be on the lookout. Yeah, because I just feel like if you're constantly coming onto company property, I'm in my right as HR to actually say to you that you shouldn't be here as often as you are. And that's that. I feel like that can be done without it being linked to him being controlling or anything like that.
New policy, people who won't work at the company are not supposed to come. You need to have authorization this far in advance. Literally. And it needs to be for specific reasons. Yeah. New policy.
Yeah, I would definitely, as HR, you have that sort of power to kind of just essentially build something or make something up that's new and say, Yeah, you never know. Like I would hope that this is a very rare case, but future situations, you just never know. So it would be good to just have something there, because it just sounds very much. And like,
I get it. Like, part-time, he probably does want to spend. She works part-time, and presumably he's not at work, because how can he's not ill, stage 4, and to be honest, stage 4 is very serious, and a lot of the time it's like no coming back from that. So you don't want to spend your remainder of your life working anyway. So I guess she has to work to make money, and so I get that maybe he does want to spend all his time with her, but that's nothing to do with the employer. Like, when you're at work, you need to be at work.
Yeah, she's at work, so you can't do that. I feel like what they're saying in terms of deemed, it kind of makes sense, because she's at work and he doesn't have the self-control essentially to just wait for her to finish.
Scary. I think there definitely has to be something about what support the employee is looking for, and making sure that, like, from a safeguarding perspective, because she's obviously your employee, that she's okay. Because when you're coming to collect her at lunchtime, like, and drop her back at lunchtime, like, what is that?
It's intense.
It's so intense. I think there's so little you can do besides actually making sure that that he can't physically, that he's not allowed to physically come and visit, and then the calling all the time.
I do think you can ask some questions though, because she's broken down and actually expressed how she feels about it. So I do think that's kind of given some not leverage, but just given a gateway to actually to just ask her, is everything okay at home? But rather than just deeming him, controlling and all of that, I think you can actually be a bit more direct based on the fact that she has broken down.
But in terms of what you can actually do, like, you can stop him coming, as you can try to stop him from coming.
But once she steps out the building, that's it.
Yeah, but that's not really your responsibility.
Yeah, it's not their responsibility. You
know what? There's some actually modern slavery indicators here.
There is, isn't there?
There's some modern slavery indicators. This is a bit like, whenever you do the modern slavery training, like, obviously it doesn't mean that you're an actual slave, but it's those things about not being able to have free movement. Does the person seem anxious? Is there like someone forever watching them? All of this other kind of stuff. So potentially, whatever that policy says, they should be looking at doing that, regardless of how unlikely you think it might be. The indicators are there. And then, doesn't what about the calling?
I would want to know, is it her phone or is it a work phone?
It says calls the workplace, so he's calling work.
Oh no, just block.
But block what? Block his number. You can't block number. It's probably coming. Do you know what I mean? Somebody has to actually speak to that. Somebody has to actually speak to the person.
I think that's a bit more tricky.
It is.
Because she knows he's not supposed to be calling, so there's no point really telling her.
But does he know that?
Yeah, but if it's the work, so does that mean, I have questions, because does that mean she's not always the one picking up? Because if it's other people picking up, then that
calls the workplace 20 to 30 times a day,
which is ridiculous. Like, nobody should be calling 20 to 30 times a day. Even if you actually have business with that company, you shouldn't be. That's harassment.
It actually is.
Yeah, that's classed as harassment. So if other people are picking up those phone calls as well, I think it's okay to have a conversation with him and say, this is not allowed, and this is harassment, and it needs to stop. If you would like to get into direct contact with your wife, please call her personal phone. And even though that's putting a bit of a burden,
that is actually her issue though.
Yeah, but you can't just be calling 30 times the company, like, no,
20, like, 30 has a day,
and if she doesn't pick up, that's your own personal problem.
Do you know what? You must be calling constantly, 20 to 30 times. Even if you call
that's a lot of times an hour, because the
you can't even call half an hour intervals.
Yeah, the working day is like 7 to 8 hours a day, right? So
that's a lot. You're calling like 4 times an hour.
That's a lot. That's like every 20 minutes, which is ridiculous. Like, no,
15, every 15, 20 minutes.
You have to be told, otherwise
that's actually that's so crazy.
Yeah. Like, he has to be told. That's not okay.
And also, it doesn't matter. Like, obviously, if you, who should tell him? Is that a conversation? Because in an ordinary situation, that's a conversation that you would feed back to your own partner.
Yeah, but I think in this situation, I think it's okay for the company to have that conversation.
Because it's affecting the company.
Exactly. Yeah, because he's calling company resources. Like, he could be blocking another call.
He's clocking up the lines.
Exactly. So I think it's okay to have that conversation. It's just that there's a risk of not knowing how he's going to respond to his partner, or how that impacts their relationship. But honestly, like, is what it is at this point.
You can only have like, 'cause this is where the lines get a bit blurred, because what happens in someone's personal life is really their business. But then to the extent you think someone could be at risk or in danger, then obviously you raise it. But if that's just the relationship that they have, and she's obviously, I don't know, obviously things are overwhelming at the moment, but obviously it would be overwhelming if you have 3 kids and a husband who's been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. She might not have any issue with the relationship herself. And it's not for you to tell her that she should.
No.
I don't know how helpful that is. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer.
There isn't.
I think you should stop him from coming to the workplace and stop him from calling the phones. There's really nothing else you can do.
No. It sounds like she's pretty helpless in this situation. So.
That's nonsense.
Yeah, that's intense. That's intense.
I told you it was a harder one.
Yeah.
Than last week's.
Yeah, that is.
How do I make friends?
that was nice. Oh, if you're listening, I hope you're getting on well.
Yeah, give us an update. Let us know how you're getting on. I think you wanted to say something.
I do. So before we wrap up the pod, I'd just like to let everybody know about a GoFundMe. And if you have our Instagram, I will put the link up by the time this episode comes out. But basically, it's a GoFundMe for somebody called Alex, who's very young. He is 31 and he was diagnosed with ALS at 30, which is a motor neuron disease. So gradually his body is essentially shutting down bit by bit, and so far the GoFundMe that he has helped him get an electric wheelchair to help him get around and stuff, and he has a very, very supportive group of people around him. But if there's anyone who wants to donate to his GoFundMe just to help him, get around and get what he needs to be able to function as his body doesn't, then please donate to the GoFundMe, which we
can put in the description as well.
We'll put a link in. Thank you.
Get tickets. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. Hold us accountable. Like,
shame us.
Like, if we're not doing something that we're supposed to be doing, like, let us know. Like, if you want to see more content from us, or if there's anything that you actually want to see us doing, I don't think we're asking for feedback as much as we should. So, like, yeah, if you're going to give us any feedback, positive or constructive, let us know.
Yeah, please do. Can I just also thank Alex for being so brave as well? Okay, that's right, guys. Bye.